All right, let's dive right in. Today we're tackling a text that's, well, it's not exactly a gentle guide. It's more like a philosophical gauntlet called The Path of the Sovereign. This isn't about finding easy answers. Nope. This is a really demanding look at what it takes to forge your own values when, pretty much everything is pushing against you. So, let's get into it.
Right off the bat, the text throws us into the deep end with this core metaphor. I mean, forget a gentle map or a guiding light. This journey kicks off with a lightning bolt straight to the system, a shock so violent it forces a radical choice. Just like the quote says, you either evolve or you perish in the boiling water of your own stagnant, comfortable pond.
So to really understand this path of lightning, we're going to follow the journey of a central figure named Wotan. His entire quest is to navigate this incredibly dangerous and isolating path toward a state the text calls sovereignty. And it's a path that's really marked by a series of intense parables and ordeals.
So how does a journey like this even begin? Well, it's not in a library surrounded by dusty books. The very first step, according to this text, is a conscious leap. A leap right into the unknown. It's all about deliberately embracing risk, leaving the safety of the shore before you have any guarantee you'll even be able to swim.
Okay, so the first ordeal is this really radical take on the classic three metamorphoses. You probably know the drill. You start as the camel, carrying the weight of tradition, then you've got to become the lion with the strength to just destroy those old burdens, and finally, you have to become the child, able to create totally new values from a place of pure, innocent will. But, and this is key, the text adds a twist, calling this true path subtler, more poisonous, and therefore all the more beautiful than any simple academic theory you'd read in a textbook.
Now let's move to the tightrope walker. In this parable, he's attempting to cross this giant chasm, and he falls. But here's the thing, his fall isn't seen as a failure at all. It's actually championed as this incredibly noble act, an embrace of what the text calls the joyful burden of risk. He chose the dangerous path over staying safely on the ground, and that's what mattered.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the central choice we're talking about. On one side, you've got the tightrope walker, who finds meaning, even joy, in taking that risk. And on the other side, you've got this figure called the last man, who wants nothing more than comfort, contentment, and total security. The text basically frames this as the fundamental philosophical decision you have to make, a life of dangerous creation or one of exhausted safety.
So once that choice is made, the path doesn't lead to some immediate glory. No, it leads right into the heart of the struggle, a profound and incredibly challenging ordeal of isolation. This is where the real psychological trials truly begin.
This stage is called the seventh solitude, and here, completely isolated, Wotan discovers that his own inner drive to create new values, well, it becomes this brutal, internal taskmaster. It just whips him forward, demanding creation without any outside praise, without any reward, without even simple human comfort. That's the price you pay for forging your own path. And it's not just an internal battle. There's this external force called the spirit of gravity, which is basically the psychological weight of the crowd. It's that pull to conform, that societal pressure that, as the text says, longs to see the overman's wings fail. So this ideal of a self-creating individual, the overman, is just constantly being dragged back down to earth by the collective.
And now we come to it, the ultimate test, the eternal recurrence. Wotan is forced to confront this horrifying idea of reliving his entire life, every single pain, every mistake, every moment of suffering, over and over and over again for all eternity. So the crucial point here is that sovereignty isn't some finish line you cross. It's a perpetual active will, the ability to look at this nightmarish repetition and still have the strength to say yes, again. After surviving those fires, a new understanding is forged. The text calls these core principles the runes of the grand reckoning, and they are the philosophical bedrock of the sovereign individual. The absolute center of all of this is amor fati, or the love of one's fate. Now, this isn't passive acceptance. It's not just gritting your teeth and bearing it. It's an active, passionate embrace of everything that happens to you, the good and the bad. It's this principle that finally transforms the individual from a follower, even of their own internal taskmaster, into a joyful creator of his own law. And this core idea really carves out the other principles. First, the meaning of the earth, which is a command to create value in this life, right here, right now, not for some far-off heaven. Then there's this really harsh rejection of pity. The goal isn't to save humanity, but to surpass it. The text also calls this atavism, which basically means a return to a primal, powerful will that modern society has tried to tame. And finally, a really crucial warning.
Even the pursuit of freedom, if it becomes this rigid duty, can trap you in its own God-sized cage.
So after achieving this state of sovereignty through all this isolation and trial, the journey takes one final, completely unexpected turn. It moves beyond solitude.
Yeah, after surviving the furnace of isolation, Wotan finally looks outward again. But he's not looking to go back to the crowd, not at all. He's searching for equals, other fellow creators who have walked their own insane path. And this search creates a completely new and honestly a potentially dangerous problem.
And this is the cliffhanger the text leaves us on. What in the world happens when these sovereign individuals, these people who have become their own source of law and meaning, what happens when they finally meet? Is peaceful coexistence even possible? Or, when two such powerful, self-directed wills collided, is the only possible outcome a kind of cosmic horror? A pretty powerful question to leave you with.